Welcome back, everybody, to EGFC. Apologies for the delay, but we are back at it again with the final match of the night. It's Mississippi State versus University of Hawaii. Right now, this is top of the ladder plus versus around the middle of the ladder. It's going to be a little tough, and we know already the first players are going to be Darth Wampa versus MIA.
Yeah, and these are two of the heaviest hitters, I think, for both of these rosters. Darth Wampa's been one of these players that's been constantly going up against some of the anchors of a lot of these schools. His only losses so far have been to Thicko and I believe it was Bobby Time on that DePaul roster. And MIA, he has been money for Mississippi State, the MVP of the championship match from last season, 5-1 this season, and his only loss came last week to end from Colorado.
These aggressive back airs at ledge, wow. They are, honestly, it's making Darth Wampa think twice anytime they go to recover. Now they're off stage, they do have the bomb, but I'm not going to use it. Instead, just getting the up B forward tilt though. It's been ledge trapping since day one. It's going to be an unfortunate position that being caught by that up B is going to find you in. Somehow they don't get hit by that up B. Dish on that forward smash. My word, the claws got range. With your nails full.
Darth Wampa trying to play very carefully here as he is at kill percent, and Wolf, another character with a lot of raw kill power in their kits. But Darth Wampa able to survive for now.
And I mean, well, real quick doing catch up right here as off the top, where we will see MIA send Darth Wampa, and honestly not even doing too bad on their own. This is just going to be a punish. I mean, online, sometimes you don't want to go for like the flashiest punish on something that's literally, like, when you see someone charge a smash attack in center stage online or charge an up B or something, it's literally the equivalent of a box propped up with a stick. And you're like, I'm not going to get caught by that. But then there's a very nice juicy slice of pie that is your combo right under it.
Yeah, and right now, I actually like that recovery from Mr. Man. Darth Wampa taking a little too long to set up, and that up B ill-advised. He'll get punished by the down tilt, and now the pressure on Darth Wampa to make it back to stage once again.
Yeah, MIA has always been a strong player. I mean, for a while was Mississippi's strongest by conventional wisdom. So the fact that they're doing this well against Darth Wampa is no surprise whatsoever. And again, I love the wolf pick against Link. Having a projectile that just goes through all of his makes him think twice anytime he pulls an item.
Really does. Now some early combos from Darth Wampa. So quick 33. MIA wanting a roll read there, could not find it. And now Darth Wampa trying to even things back up here. Like that up B, that should just be the stock. It is, and Darth Wampa has brought it all the way back.
Yeah, and you can see now Darth Wampa, well, I was going to say, they're going for a lot of charge smash attacks, but that's the thing about good players. They change the pace of the game in an instant. Just jumping right out of that smash attack into a back air, finishing the stock, and now look at you go. You're able to even up the percents in the dash attack. Almost gets you some more damage, but not quite. As instead, grab right there, straight out of shield, turning around. MIA. Able to hold steady for the time being, but every one of their hits is answered with one of their own. Darth Wampa, after that big reversal at ledge with the up B, they're not letting up the pressure.
No, not at all. And now back into neutral they go, and MIA's done a good job of finding ways in on Darth Wampa, but one small overextension and the quick combos from Darth Wampa give them the percent lead for now, but that's a good grab.
Forward tilts at ledge, but it's not enough. Right now, landing there will put you in a good position again, trying to reflect that boomerang, but not going to get the privilege. But the back air catching the jump right there. MIA, no nonsense whatsoever. Catching the very tip of that is going to be the finisher right there as MIA puts the point on the board for Mississippi State.
And what I love about MIA's play right there in game number one, especially later on in that set, he just played smart, right? You know, he took a little bit of chip damage, you know, a couple of up tilts from Link, and it can be kind of scary in that scenario, but right at the end there, once he got Link off stage, just perfectly spacing those forward tilts, and then the timing on that back air. You saw Darth Wampa start to throw it, I believe it was Nair, just to try and throw something out, but the spacing and the timing of catching that jump on the back air, just really well done by MIA.
Yeah, honestly fantastic. Like I said, the back airs, I mean, Wolf's back air, that's a whole character in and of itself. Wolf's back air is better than many of the low tiers in this game, and I can say that confidently. It can combo, it can kill, it can kill, it can kill, and it can kill well. It's so scary. We saw it previously take a stock at like 60% at ledge when they caught a dash back. Like, that is some scary amount of kill power for a move that comes out so fast, and Wolf has a whole arsenal of other aerials to help combo into it too.
Yeah, no, it certainly was very, I think, ever present in that matchup. And MIA does such a good job of, holding on. I talk about, not throwing out those kill moves often, right? Just holding on to that trigger and waiting to pull it. And this was another one of those scenarios where you threaten everything else and then you land that back air. Then you land the strong hit. And MIA just did such a good job of it. But despite all that, Darth Wampa kept it to one stock. He kept it very close. And I really have to flash back to that second stock because I think, and I'm not 100% sure about it, but it was very close, if not it was a 0 to death on that second stock. And Darth Wampa doing a great job of playing around at high percents, but he's got to find a way to get MIA to those high percents and find a way to secure those stocks because it's taking too long for the classic Link setups.
As MIA not even trying to get any reversals, just anytime they get the opportunity, getting at a disadvantage, and then resetting it, because they know with their tools, they're more likely to win it again than lose.
Absolutely. A little bit of a percent deficit here for Darth Wampa as MIA. We talked about that ability to change the pace of a matchup, and MIA doing a great job of it here. Started off very fast, but now he's kind of slowed it down and is looking for those 1 or 2 openings to see if he can find a kill here.
Landing there, making Darth Wampa love that shield a little too much. You hold it too long, you're gonna get grabbed. All those landing aerials, that's what it does to you. That's what it does to your brain. They're not even trying to get tricky with up these past ledge. They know MIA is not gonna fall for that one, as they just space these nairs on shield. It gets a little low, but I think MIA is just fine with that. Catch the bomb right there. I didn't throw out a shield though, they tried to jump with it. Darth Wampa not gonna fall for that one. Landing with the bomb again, but throwing that leaves you in a bit of lag. That's going to be punished.
Up air taking the stock, and now Darth Wampa down here early. Could potentially kill Wolf early, but you got to land a strong hit by the edge of the stage, and MIA's done such a good job of playing around center stage.
Immediate guaranteed damage right here. MIA trying to get a solid point lead, because even beating Darth Wampa is not a guarantee of victory.
Ooh, I like the pressure that Darth Wampa's putting on right here. That dash attack should do it. It kills off the top, and MIA dropping his first stock.
Look at that pressure right there. Yeah, not even want to play around the bomb. Center stage, the fact that you're able to have good enough control over your opponent that you play right on top of the bomb and don't even worry at all, you're at such low percent, you're probably going to punish off of it anyway. MIA play the lead perfectly right now. They're letting Darth Wampa drop down with these moves that aren't even going to get through shield, knowing that it's likely that the grab isn't going to come out yet, as they just get the tomahawk right there, put Darth Wampa at ledge.
The other thing, too, is that MIA, we saw in game number 1 and a little bit here in game number 2, he's scouting those rolls. He's looking for the ways that Darth Wampa wants to tech off of knockdowns. And I think he's starting to slowly catch on to it. Dangerous forward smash there, not going to land quite yet, but this is a good grab. Opts for forward throw instead.
Tries to punish that tech on the platform, but eventually it will be the up tilt to finally finish it off. At that point, any of Wolf's moves probably would have at least strong hit anyway, but the landing forward air combos into more, 37%. Have met ledge, but you can't quite get the punish. Get effect will stuff you out. Now where do you go?
Darth Wampa just trying to get something on the board here. Does not want to give a lot of points over, even if he were to drop this game, but he's at 98. This could be a down air waiting. Instead, MIA opted for the nair, but it does not connect.
Yeah, that was the first time Darth Wampa has recovered high, and good thing too, because MIA was in position with the nair. Playing off the ledge right here. MIA gets the long sauntering leap above. Just trying to pressure through the platform with these back airs, making Darth Wampa uncomfortable with every laser that gets fired out. Perfect spacing right there, and showing off in style exactly why that perfect spacing matters. No way that connected. That was ludicrous range. Not ludicrous range on this side B though, as MIA stands there and says, roll in, I dare you. And finally, the up tilt is not going to be quite the finisher yet. Up B though, is that an invitation right there? Is forward throw going to do it? No, just a down throw right there, trying to catch him with the laser. Instead, you're just at ledge again. No get up attack this time. Not even an immediate shield afterwards either. Not wanting MIA to get any ideas about grabs. This is the most precise game of footsies I've seen anyone play against Hawaii. MIA is not looking to get reversal, and the dash attack will be the finisher.
And just well done to MIA, right? Darth Wampa had his openings, but they were never quite as strong or quite as potent as the openings that MIA was able to find that set. And it's like you said, the footsies were good, neutral was good, and MIA just felt like he was slowly starting to catch on to a lot of what Darth Wampa wanted to do. And although it was even, although it got down to a last stock, you could tell all of the pressure was on Darth Wampa to make a play, and it just never happened.
Yeah, and I feel like MIA was well aware of that pressure, and they were happy to exploit it. They're like, come on, make a move, I dare you. Pick a card, any card. But all of them were jokers. There's nothing you could do. It was just... MIA refused to overcommit. At all. And it looked funny at times how they would stand perfectly outside Link's range. Anything that was coming at them, like a boomerang or a bomb, would be reactable. And they just were like, think Fox in Melee, or Fox in this game. Come on at them. And MIA never gave up that lead. Never once they got it in the beginning. And Darth Wampa tried to play it close, tried to make him frustrated, and MIA would not give in.
Yeah, absolutely. And Darth Wampa too. I think he's one of these players that, Link can at times thrive off of that overextension. Darth Wampa especially so. And I think to a point in this game where the fact that MIA wasn't overcommitting, the fact that MIA was so good at playing patient, I think almost got to Darth Wampa because he couldn't get he couldn't find any overextensions. He couldn't find that one window. He had to play so clean just to get those one or two up tilts just for 20-ish%. And when you're only getting max 20% off of every interaction that goes in your favor, because they're not all going in your favor, it just becomes such a grind. It was such a slog for Darth Wampa to find an opening, and that's something I think MIA has done really well this season. Even if he's not getting the maximum amounts of points, it just becomes so difficult for his opponent to find a way in, to capitalize, to find an opening. MIA does a really good job of making the matches a slow and tenuous grind.
And Hawaii now pulling out all the stops. There's going to be Volt coming in next. And Volt, I believe, is one of... in my personal opinion, one of the better players on Hawaii, just because they have come in and clutched out when Hawaii needed it most. And Hawaii is a team that battles back when they're at a deficit. They don't wait until the end to try and clutch it out. They don't wait until the other players are burned. They know that Mississippi has a whole lineup, a 15-person lineup of killers. So there's no point in holding back now. You get the lead, and then you try and clutch it out in the end. That's what they're playing for. We'll see if they're able to do that now, as it's going to be Volt against Bane the Enigma from Mississippi State.
Yeah, Volt, for the side of Hawaii, this Cloud has been very fun to watch, and he's 3-2 on the season. And I think the one thing that's really stood out about Volt the few times we've watched him is it feels like the longer a set goes, the stronger he gets. I feel like he's a very read-heavy type of Cloud, but we'll have to see if that comes to fruition today. Bane the Enigma, we haven't really seen him this season a lot, but Mississippi State is one of these teams. They've got so many players on their roster that there's few that have been kind of consistent names, week in and week out for them. We haven't seen Bane since, I believe, week 1, and he actually lost his set. So we'll see if he can get a little bit of redemption here against Volt.
And I mean, I feel like Mississippi definitely came prepared for Hawaii. Based on how they were playing, MIA was always going to play good regardless, but that was a very practice play. Not even pulling out the Mario. A lot of teams have different characters, accounting for the slight delay from the distance. A lot of teams straight up have different characters just for Hawaii. I think that's what we saw from MIA. I'm curious how this is going to be now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it in the past too. But the other thing that's interesting, we talk about I mentioned in the last interview, the Central Conference and how stacked it is with all of these teams that did so well last season in it. And for Mississippi State, Hawaii is kind of one of the last roadblocks for them in this Central Conference. I mean, Mississippi State has 2 wins. They're undefeated so far this season. 2 wins against Colorado, and we've seen how good they've been. They beat Marquette earlier this year, and we saw how good Marquette could be. But outside of that division now, the only 2 teams they really have left to play in that Central Division are this Hawaii team, who's been on the rise as of late, and DePaul. And those are really the last 2 kind of speed bumps in their way to trying to get back to a championship. Now, DePaul, they won't play until next split, until we reach the spring. But it's something to keep in mind here that they really want this win against Hawaii. They don't want to give anyone in that Central Conference, any strong teams in that Central Division, any extra chances, especially when it comes to in-conference play.
Yeah, not at all. Any chances like that you hand out for free, it's always something you're going to look back on. Like, even if it's just seeding, like at this point, Mississippi's getting in. But you want to be as seeded as high as possible so you don't run into any bracket demons. Bane is going to be running the Enderman against the infamous Volt Cloud. You see how that pans out now? Going into Smashville. Very good stage control here, but not a lot of space to control. You can see a slow recovery coming out from Bane right away. And Volt immediately capitalizing off of that. Maybe Bane can get some more punishes later, but for now, they're just trying to use these burst options while Volt can't really punish them. Yeah, just trying to get up the resources for now. For the time being, yeah, you get what you can get.
Good first opening there. But it is Volt going to be putting on the pressure here. Not really giving Bane the time to collect on those resources, which is really well done to Volt, because we talk about characters that can control the pace of a match, and it feels like Steve is one of those characters that just does it very well. But at the end of the day, Volt just being in his face, pressuring constantly. Bane has to play this so passively and so carefully.
Is Bane able to get Volt off stage? They're holding on to this stock. They got diamonds for the next one. They survived the Cloud dash attack because of the soft hit. I mean, honestly, not a terrible start after 70% unanswered. You're going to be taken out there, but now you're going to get diamond tools online. You're going to need a cross slash for it, though. Double cross slash. You can see these spaced forward airs, but they avoid that projectile for the time being. Bane, they know they have the kill power now. They're trying to get the resources back online. How are you going to get there? That's the question. Dash Tech will send Volt off stage again. But good spacing to avoid the anvil.
And Volt now really trying to play for his stock right now. 112, just trying to get any extra credit that he can. With diamond equipment on deck, he's got to play so carefully. That up smash should do it, and it does. So Volt's first stock off the board.
Ooh, and that's an immediate cross slash. You gotta wonder how Bane is gonna get the percentage stacked up, because it's a little bit harder to nail the combos here. These stray hits, I mean, they favor Cloud with the disjoints. Ooh, okay. Cloud right off the bat. Having a little trouble, but the roll behind up smash will punish the grab hard. There's so much lag on that tether recovery. Now, Bane trying their best to just, well, they dash back, short hop back, and then make more stage for themselves in the process. So good for them. But also, it's still not going to be easy, as you need to find a way to get off the ledge against this limit Cloud, and Volt will not stop putting the aerials out there.
Just done such a good job of pressuring with all those aerials, like you said, but could be an opening here. Nope, opts to collect a little bit more, and now he's got Volt off stage. The down air will connect. No tech from Volt, and that is going to be Volt on his last stock.
Okay. Up smash, a great way to start it out. You got diamond tools online. 3 mistakes. That's what those diamond tools mean. And you've got plenty of durability for that. Some guaranteed damage off of the jab right there. Forward air will send Volt off as well, but no low recovery for you. Nothing to exploit. Bane the Enigma. Now faced with the enigma of how do you find this stock when Cloud is so slippery and Volt is so accustomed to throwing out move after move. No lag on that cross slash, and not a little too much lag on that landing forward air. Is going to mean Bane is sent off the top of the stage as Volt does get a point on the board for the University of Hawaii against Bane.
And I really like Volt's last play there because, you know, you think about the times that you just hit Cloud's shield and you think, okay, here comes the up B, here comes some damage, but instead opts for the up smash knowing that he can probably get the kill off of it. And so Volt, you know, against a character who typically controls the pace of a match pretty well, Volt, I think, did fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, so I feel like it just comes down to the pace Volt plays even through the connection. I mean, Volt, they know that it's hard enough to punish Cloud spacing back airs, Cloud spacing forward airs offline. So online, you might as well just set up a maze, set up a blockade more like it, and just say, hey, you can have a fair shot at trying to get through this, but don't mess up. Don't mess up. Because if you mess up, well, then you're invited to a world of hurt in the form of damage on damage on damage and opportunities to build that limit, which they will use to punish you from across stage with a blade beam, punish any options you have, bait you in with the cross slash, and then punishing you off of the low lag. I mean, what doesn't that limit do for Cloud?
Yeah, really. And on the opposite side here, Bane, the Enigma, I thought it was interesting, too, how he kind of started off with a slower pace, right? I mean, you know, most, I think, Stevie players opt, for, get some materials first, and then we'll see what we can work with. Then we'll engage our opponent. But Bane almost, instantly, throughout that first stock, spent it mostly farming. And then couldn't really get those classic extensions that we've seen this character, be able to get. I mean, not even the ranged attacks like the cart ever really connected that set. So Volt doing a good job of being elusive that first game.
Yeah, it's the jab forward airs all the way to Bane. They like the horizontal combos, not the vertical ones, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's tricky to follow DI like that. But sometimes that's what you got to do. Because now, you can see Bane. Well, they're trying to get like these quick burst options on the ground, but they're not really accounting for how much Volt short hops at neutral. I mean, you have the up tilt, you got the, what's that, like frame 4 or something like that? You gotta use it to its fullest, but instead they, like I said, they prefer the horizontal. I don't blame them. But either way, the up tilt, you can just set it up into an up smash too. So just as good.
I'm actually surprised that up air, that first up air didn't hit, but Volt again putting the pressure on here. That blade beam will not connect, so Bane will survive for now, but Volt done such a good job of keeping him to the corner.
Right now, they have the diamonds on lock. You've got the Rage 2, Iron Tools. I mean, look at that. Rage Minecart almost killed. Another one certainly will. But at this point, Volt knows exactly what you're fishing for. The Minecart will grab them, and the forward air will finish them off. Bane, still without, just able to buy some more time, get some more resources, and that's really all you're playing for at this point. I mean, a stock would be great, but these blocks won't mind themselves.
And Volt wanted that kill, but he got the reverse hitbox of up smash, so no strong knockback to be found there. And now he's got to find a way in on Steve. That's been a little bit difficult. That side B not able to connect, and Bane with a smart low recovery there to dip down low, make sure Volt's got no chance at edge guard.
Yeah, that was picturesque right there. Beautiful. As the back air at a shield will finish off Volt. Right now, Bane's poised to, I mean, I'm not sure the 3-stock can happen, yeah. Especially not when you're doing down smashes on shield. That's no way to get a 3-stock. But either way, Bane is moving a little smoother, getting a little more used to what Volt has on the table, and they're just getting these guaranteed combos. They're actually connecting the minecarts now, getting a better feel for when Volt goes landing. But they're still going to get punished out for that very well spaced side B.
Gotta play carefully here if you are Volt. You want to try and keep this thing as close as possible and give yourself a shot in the late game, but Bane doing a good job of playing defensive here.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about. In that amazing aerial drift, and then coming in to hit hard. 54% right now. We have seen crazier comebacks happen.
We have, and yeah, sorry, no, we have absolutely, and if anyone could pull this off, it's Volt. The way he's been controlling the pace of the match so far, has an opening here, and again, just being able to avoid a lot of these projectiles and a lot of combo starters.
Volt not properly spacing that forward air, but limit is online, jumping right over it then. Now it's not going to be there for a little while. Not able to catch the air dodge away. Steve not quite the speed, but if you read it with a minecart, maybe. Playing around that up B, hoping to fish for a kill off of it. But look at this, they're forcing so many jumps and then punishing the landings with an aerial. Bane's starting to get a better idea of how to control the pace of the match. They're able to catch them right there. Place the block, confuse them a little bit, push up your landing, but instead they just go for the diamond tools. They have it online, but now you're on ledge against Volt. It's not a good place to be. Side B imminent right now. As look at this. They're camping out the limit. They don't want to deal with it at all. Good enough. Will it kill? Yes, it will with all that rage. And Bane. Heartbreaker right there. 3-stock. Comeback. And Well, Volt, they got off on the wrong foot. But so they're able to claw their way back into that just like that.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch. I think because there's something to be said too about the way Volt played, especially in those last two stocks. Right, he falls early to Bane, and Bane was in such control of that matchup, especially through the early and mid section of it. But then Volt, we talked about his elusiveness. We touched on his elusiveness at the end of game one, and it came through in the clutch there in game two. And I was worried because it felt like he got a little dependent on limit, right? Especially towards the end of that stock where, once he burned that cross slash, it just was kind of, where is he going to find the kill now? But the second it came back online, he was able to stall out for so long that it became a factor again. And Bane just kind of went down the checklist of defensive options, and Volt found the one read he needed the most to even things back up.
Yes. Right now, it's going to be Mr. Man coming in. And I don't even want to say it, because we're going to be saying it all night. But another heavy hitter for Mississippi State, Soy.
Yeah, Mr. Man is one of these players that we haven't seen a ton of this season, but last season he was clutch. I mean, Mr. Man was one of these players that if it wasn't MIA going last or Yosefu going last, it was Mr. Man. And I think Mr. Man was even the player who iced DePaul in that grand final. So very talented. And we saw Mr. Man. He typically, before DLC, he was going ZSS. But ever since Sora has came out, he has been playing this character, and his Sora looks fantastic. It has been perfect so far this season. So I'm very curious to see what Hawaii's answer is to Mr. Man.
But, well, it's going to be the captain. Head of the ship themselves, it is Gray, the Pokemon trainer, who has been making some waves as of late. But, I mean, we talk about Mr. Consistency. I feel like Mr. Man is just that. ZSS as well does pretty well against Pokemon trainer. I mean, all three of the... I feel like ZSS is also just... I mean, not the best on Wi-Fi. But being able to use the Zair, use the side B to space on Wi-Fi, they're very lenient moves, and they're very rewarding moves. That it can be frustrating, and when you're frustrated, you make mistakes. When you make mistakes, that's when the real big punishes come in. And what else does ZSS have? The Paralyzer. For when big mistakes happen, use Paralyzer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've seen very few ZSSs here at EGF, but the ones that have made their appearances have just been fantastic. I mean, Mr. Man, I think the biggest example of them, Jafaldo, last season for William and Mary was also very clutch. But Gray on the flip side of this, like we said, captain of this team, and he's had very high standing results. I believe he is 3-1 on the season so far, and actually 4-1 with his win last week in that very pressured situation. He was in that fifth set against Canisius College's Weebson and was able to clutch it out for Hawaii there. So no stranger to these tough matchups, but I mean, Mr. Man is a whole new beast, and this Sora, it feels like it just plays differently than any other Sora we've really seen.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Sora at all. You got plenty of counter picks, might as well use them. Going up gets the PT, I mean...
3, 2, 1,
you've just got to watch out for the 2 frames. Sora's got a good recovery. It snaps the ledge as well as any other. PT doesn't punish for that, though. Last week it took quite a bit. I think this is just a button check real quick as we make sure all the moves working. Yeah, you see Mr. Man just getting that combo on lock. Make sure everything is all nice and dandy. button check all over. Gray feeling good about it. It is going to be a 4-4 match going into this third game. Neither of these teams have gotten more than the minimum amount of points. That's how close it's been, Soy. Every single time. These teams don't let up. They don't let up the pressure, but it's always answered back. Let's see who takes the slight lead here. Going in, and it is going to be a slight lead. I can almost guarantee I'll eat my hat if this is just a runaway, because I can't see any world in which that happens.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that have typically played it close, and it goes to show, you know, how compact the talent is here, especially with a lot of these teams that, you know, Mississippi State is 6-0 so far this season, but they are also, you know, one of these teams that their point differential isn't all that. I mean, it is very good. It's 6 plus 62, but that's fifth in the EGF for a team that's undefeated to not have, you know, the highest point spread. It goes to show, you know, a lot of these sets can be very close.
Immediately, Gonzaga uses cover ledge. Mr. Man trying to keep advantage, but the second you're caught by a razor leaf, Gray is ready. Oh, chasing them all the way across the stage, but Gray doesn't stop the dash backs once. They were ready, understanding that smash failed. Maybe small, but it is the perfect amount of space to dash all the way back to avoid Sora.
Nearly finding the stock too.
No, not quite. With the Charizard switch to multiple jump, we're able to hold on here. And Super Armor actually helps to avoid the Thundaga as well. Mr. Man not overcommitting though, understanding what that could mean. Mashing out of the grab as well. Decides he's gonna go unpunished, and the down smash will be the finisher.
Big stock for Mr. Man to take there, puts the pressure on Gray to try and make a play, and it feels like Mr. Man has had pretty good control of this matchup so far in terms of pace, but a good answer there from Gray.
Very nice with that falling up there. Pretty safe, pretty deadly. As now, Gray on the ledge, they're gonna be, well, playing the pressure game. By the pressure game, I mean explosion. As that's what they go for again and again and again, but eventually you're gonna miss space a little bit, and just the constant pressure. It's not inescapable, but it's just a constant rhythm that you don't always see the way out of.
Tricky, but Gray with an opening has the percent lead now. And it's the down air follow up into the forward smash, nearly taking that stock, so big momentum boost there for Gray.
Okay. Up air as well. Finds the connection. Gray with the razor leaf. Playing careful, playing nice. But hey. I was very scared right there, but Mr. Man has shown that they're not willing to risk things, but the down throw at ledge shows them maybe you are going to have to take some risks off stage. Because, I mean, the fact that you don't contest Gray off stage, it's great. And you're able to get a kill confirm off of the nair, so maybe you don't need the edge guard. But I have seen a lot of what looked like pretty decent opportunities go away.
Yeah, difficult to say the least. And now Gray losing a lot of percent off of those few neutral interactions, and Mr. Man putting the pressure on once again. Not afraid to go off stage 2. Very dangerous, but he does get around it.
Now, on the recovery, they're actually able to clip, set up a tech chase situation, and get a free ticket off ledge. I didn't know you could do that, but Smashville is full of surprises. Hit the freeze right now into the up smash, but a very well-timed no-mash from Gray is able to save them from that, everything but the damage. But, yeah, it's such a powerful move, the slam. Unlocking the door in the floor, that is what Gray is on the receiving end of, as Mr. Man is able to get some more points on the board for Mississippi State. But as I said, it is not going to be a runaway, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, no, in a pivotal third set, I don't think I'd expect anyone else to be in these spots for these two lineups. But an interesting game, I think, to say the least. It was very back and forth. It felt like Gray had a few tricks up his sleeve for taking stocks, and Mr. Man just wasn't quite ready for it in the early game. But especially later on, Mr. Man's control over center stage and the follow ups he was able to get, it feels like Gray has kind of leaned heavily into this Ivysaur because Ivysaur just has more options and a lot easier time, I think, dealing with a lot of Sora's kit. And Mr. Man, I think, as that set went on, started to catch on to a lot more of those options. So I feel like the key here for game number 2, Gray's got to be a bit trickier and possibly make a little bit better use of Squirtle and Charizard when those two come onto play.
I definitely agree, Soy. I mean, I don't hate the Ivysaur. I don't at all. It gives you a pretty good recovery with the tether. I mean, it's hard enough to punish tethers online or offline. What are you going to do about it here and now? But either way, you still have to be wary because there are some very exploitable weaknesses with the pace at which Ivysaur throws out hitboxes and how it just falls a little bit behind Sora when Sora closes the distance.
So game 2 here. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, but game 2 here on Town and City, and again, opting immediately for Ivysaur and almost dying off the top because of it.
Yeah, but not overcommitting. Like I said, this seems to be the strategy that both MIA and Mr. Man stick to and never give up. Never overcommit, take what you're given, and you'd be shocked that when you don't give anything out, how much is dealt out in return. Mr. Man got caught one throw right there, and they're almost dead, but able to get the long recovery back to stage.
And I think Gray, it was a little bit of a miscue there. He wanted the spike, he wanted the down air, and just misspaced it. It could have been the stock now, and I feel like he just wants that down air so badly, but if he opted for forward smash 1 or 2 times there, he might have been able to seal it away. But that up air will take the first stock, so Gray still managing to get the lead here and hold on to it.
Right now, the freeze is bouncing straight off that shield. No frostbite on my leaves. There's Gray. Tries to hold on to this lead. You know the down smash is coming. Mr. Man loves it as a call out, but, well, good luck down smashing when you can't get your feet on the ground. Thundogma covers the recovery. And very nice. Quick recovering that time as Gray tried to wait. Oh, zooming right back on the stage right there. They tried to use their surprise burst and momentum right there to get the down smash, but it's not going to connect, and the up smash is going to be punished as well. Mr. Man, now at this junction, struggling a little bit.
Yeah, and now playing carefully around this ledge once more, trying not to give up his stock, but the parry will lead to, I believe that was forward tilt there, able to take that stock away. Now Mr. Man looking for some combos on this big heavy Charizard.
Yeah, just now going for the zoning, understanding that the burst option could come out at any time. Playing around on the top of Charizard's shield, that's a scary prospect altogether. But we have to hold on for the time being. Up he had a shield, not going to be enough. Charge forward smash though. Gray, their lead is evaporating as they roll right into the forward smash. Mr. Man, perfect spacing to cover everything right there. Gray, they had a lead. Where'd it go now? Mr. Man looks to finish what they started. Gray not going to make it easy.
And that also might have been a 0 to death on that Charizard, because I don't think that Charizard took a single hit, as Gray finds the down throw to even things back up. But it just goes to show why Gray is opting for this Ivysaur. His Squirtle and Charizard have just been mitigated in this matchup. Mr. Man doing a fantastic job of just exploiting those characters' weaknesses, and the last wall for him to overcome is this Ivysaur.
Ooh, and they put a chip in that wall right away with the side B, forcing Gray to respect that burst option, respect Sora's presence. That up smash, not quite a tipper, but it gives Mr. Man amazing control. Down smash gonna whiff, but doesn't really matter. They go for another one just for the fun of it. And so little lag that can run in and get the grab. This is the first time we've seen Mr. Man go that deep off stage.
Dangerous scenario. Good up air to get Mr. Man out of dodge there. Could have been a down air from Gray. But he's got to find a way back to stage. And look at all the pressure Mr. Man is putting on in this corner.
Okay, trying to get the falling up air, trying to get the kill confirmed, the double roll, the triple roll, and then air. Oh, this is suddenly looking like a lot more feasible. It's Gray ascends to the top, and with literally max rage off the top at 67%. That's going to confirm. That's going to kill. And just like that, it's 5-5, Soy. I said Gray wasn't going to make it easy, but this is... We're on game 3, and it's 5-5. Soy. This is maybe the most tongue-in-cheek, tooth-and-nail fight I think I've seen in the EGF.
Yeah, at least through the first couple games here. I mean, minimum amount of points scored for both teams so far. And, I mean, I feel like this matchup in particular, too, is just... It just has a different feel than a lot of the other heavy-hitting type of matchups, because both of these players have done such a good job, I think, of adapting to each other's game plan, right? I mean, Sora is just a kind of a hard character to get a read on in the first place, but then Pokemon Trainer, you know, has all of these options, and Mr. Man has done such a good job of, you know, almost completely mitigating Squirtle. I don't think we really saw Squirtle used at all in that second game. Charizard did nothing in that second stock in particular, so he's forced him onto just this Ivysaur, and Gray is still finding a way to survive and take stocks.
Surviving and thriving, that's the tale of the day. As right off the bat, GC got into TS2. Not surprised, but I feel like you get the platforms with the setups, but there's not as much space to work with. And that's kind of proven to be Mr. Man's detriment right now as the opener. And that's Gray, some nice percent.
Yeah, a lot of nice percent. I mean, 89 on the board so far, and Mr. Man wanting his one opening, but good shield. That upbeat, that should do it. And that's an early lead for Gray, 15%. That could be quickly mitigated, but that's a huge early lead.
Not quite able to get the follow-up off of that either. 65% unanswered. You've got to find the kill though. And this has proved to be a little bit of a struggle. Clank with that down air, but where do you find the punish? There it is. Gray starting to find the answers out of that shield pressure, Soy.
Yeah, and Mr. Man, the pressure is on him. There it is, though, the quick conversion, the follow-up into that forward smash. I was going to say, the fact that Gray had that lead forced Mr. Man to make a play, and he found one.
Getting the freeze right there. Low percent's not going to do much more than chip on some percent. Mr. Man, though, okay to slow things down. You got your Razor Leaf, I got my Fireball. Let's see who wins out.
These upbeats from Gray, I love them so far. They've been so good. And now he's got Mr. Man off stage. Can't quite space that down here once again. But those early upbeats off of down throws, off of forward airs, he loves to go for them and just respect the spacing. And make Mr. Man respect the spacing.
Oh, it went all the way down. And just getting the clip on that upbeat. Enough to really make Gray consider what was going on. That was a little scary, but yeah. When you get hit by a strong move like that, all you want to do is spam a panic option. And Gray was ready for it, punished with the up smash, or up air rather, and now, this man on what could be their last stock. Need to find this kill ASAP, and they knew that. They went for the forward smash. Gray knew it too. Here at ledge, Gray honestly I mean, fishing a little bit, but they're just holding on to center stage, holding on to this lead. They don't want to give it up.
Ooh, but they do. That up air connecting, and so now we've got a last stock situation once again, and Gray just not even opting again for Squirtle or Charizard, just putting it all on green on this Ivysaur. It's been good so far, but man, the damage that Mr. Man can get just off of one opening, Gray has to play so careful.
Ooh. Again, nice use of that burst option, not overusing it, and just like that, Mr. Man has retaken the lead. Has Gray at ledge, gets the grab. What's he gonna do with it? It's the Zaga, but not trying to get too hard of a punish, knowing the mash is gonna come at this low percent.
And that's twice now, and that's sort of what Gray has to do in that scenario. He can't contest the fire with his Razor Leaf. He'll lose that projectile match, so he just has to wait for Mr. Man to stop using it before he can go back in.
Look at that. They eventually catch him with the tip of the thunder, and that puts Gray at ledge. They're fishing for it. The tomahawk grab. Not enough to kill with the up air yet, but Gray feeling the heat now. They got some heat of their own. Goes for that up B, not going to connect, but you know it's an option now. Look at these kill options being thrown out. They're so much safer from Ivysaur, but Nair up smash. Mr. Man is able to clutch it out in the end, and they're going to be victorious. 2 more points on the board. But is that guaranteed of anything, Soy?
I mean, not in the slightest. This was quite the close, tense matchup between those two. But Mr. Man able to clutch it out in the end. And it just felt like as that match went on, Mr. Man, he started to figure out the puzzle that was Gray's Ivysaur, right? He was putting it all on this Ivysaur, and Ivysaur had answers. I mean, you think back to, things like that weird range interaction with the fire and the Razor Leaf. It felt like every trade was difficult for Gray. It wasn't, insurmountable by any means, but think back to, out of shield options, Gray would go for something like a down smash, and the punish would be back air. And back air could lead into something else, but Gray often had to pull off of it because of something like Nair, weird situations where the trade wasn't always clean and the answer wasn't always easy. And Gray was able to find a lot of those answers. But at the end of the day, Mr. Man was just making it such a difficult scenario in the first place that it's sort of like, I want to say almost Anaconda-like, just slowly constricting what Gray could do until he was finally able to get that stock.
Interesting analogy, but I'll let it pass. I mean, that did really feel a little accurate. Just the way, like you said, every single time it felt like Gray found a new innovation. It got some mileage for a little bit, but you had better check the warranty on those. They do not last long. Not when the wear and tear from Mr. Man is chipping away at them. The adaptation was there. Mr. Man didn't let any new tricks stay new for very long. They were outdated in almost an instant. I mean, fast fashion, it's killing this planet, Soy. And that's really how it felt for University of Hawaii. Now it is going to be going into Game 4 Canoe for Mississippi State as Hawaii deliberates who can try and bring this back after Gray came so close but ended up falling.
Yeah, and for Mississippi State, they're sending in Canoe. This is the Jigglypuff player in this lineup. He's 2-1 so far this season, and Canoe, we've talked about Jigglypuff before, but I think Canoe has been one of the most proficient in the scene here at the EGF. A lot of good plays last year, and this year at 2-1, aside from that one hiccup, he's looked like he's been on point. And so to send him in here in this fourth slot, I think is an interesting choice, but it's also, I think, a pretty good decision here because you've got someone with a lot of experience and who's got a lot of good results to their name going up against, who knows from Hawaii who they send in here. But remember, if Mississippi State win, they might have the points to edge this one out completely. So we'll have to see.
It's going to be Altair from Mississippi State, or rather from University of Hawaii, the Wii Fit trainer, if you remember. Now, here's the thing. about Jigglypuff versus Wii Fit Trainer. I honestly think that Jigglypuff wins this match pretty handedly, just because of the way Jigglypuff dominates the corners, dominates them hard. If you put yourself in the corner and you don't have an amazing recovery, or a fast recovery, Jigglypuff can capitalize. Wii Fit Trainer loves that edge, loves that ledge, serving up all sorts of pain from it, but if you get caught out there, it's going to be rough. The standard, it's the kind of thing, like I was mentioning earlier, the reason I think Jigglypuff frustrates a lot of people, and I play into this too, is that you have to play against her in a far different way than any other character in the game. She just forces you to play a different game. And that sucks for a lot of people. Wii Fit can't hug that ledge, otherwise Jigglypuff is just going to end your life. Additionally, we have seen Hawaii struggle against Jigglypuff before. If you remember Thitco from St. John's, I believe, their counter pick for Hawaii was Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff just has a lot of auto combos off of that burst option of Pound that, I mean, is guaranteed damage is guaranteed damage. You don't need to be hitting the rest. All you need to do is force them to miss space once, and you got yourself a kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to wonder, too, for Altair, I think the last time we actually saw him play, he played King K. Rool, but it might have been for one of those niche matchup reasons or something along those lines. And I don't think King K. Rool is a much better answer in theory, but it's one of those weird matchup things where you're going up against Canu's Puff at this point, or at least that's what's to be assumed, since Canu hasn't shown us any of his possible pocket characters. So how do you want to play into that style is I think going to be what really is the difference maker heading into this match. Does he want to play that heavier character that could possibly get the kill earlier, or does he want to try and play a slower game against a character that could really take advantage of that?
I mean, it's kind of rough. I mean, if you're going to be on Wi-Fi, I don't think K-Rool is a bad choice in any means. But, I mean, it all depends on your comfort. We have seen in the past, if you know... I actually don't remember where this matchup took place, but Varun, best Wii Fit trainer in the world, got double 3-stocked by Base Mage the last time they played, if I remember correctly. And that's rough. That's really rough. So, on paper, yeah, it's not a great matchup, but it's a very different scenario here and now. A lot less, many fewer cards are on the table in an online match like this. So, we'll have to see.
And Altair, too, we should also note, is one of these players for Hawaii that has been around, I believe, since at least last season when Hawaii joined. And Altair has been, kind of the guy for this slot, this fourth spot, to give Hawaii a chance late in sets or to try and put sets away. And so, this is, I think, his comfort zone. But Canu, we talked about how Puff just kind of, you said it, he plays almost a different game, it feels like, or makes people play just a different game. So maybe the game plan here for Mississippi State was, get Hawaii out of their comfort zone, make them as uncomfortable as possible with the play style that they have to play, because it feels like through the first 2-3 matches, the game plan has gone from, we've seen how high-flying and fast-paced Mississippi State could be, but it feels like the game plan here for this Hawaii matchup in particular has been slow it down, grind it out, make sure that there's no mistakes being made on our end, and we'll find a way to punish accordingly afterward.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to play at all. I mean, if you ask some people, it is the way to play. It is the optimal way to play. I mean, personally, I think aggression is a little bit busted, but listen. It all comes down to knowing your matchup, knowing who you're playing against, and Mississippi, the fact that they're able to change play styles on a dime shows they know that entirely, as it is going to be the K rule coming out right here. Honestly, online, I think this might be a little bit of a better option. We'll see how it benefits them going out on Town and City. Big old stage right here, but Puff can definitely get some work done. So can K rule, though. I mean, K rule has a lot of space to control. You can see Canoe definitely playing that same strategy, using the dare to shield poke as they're just getting these stray hits in, avoiding King K. Rool's burst range. What does King K. Rool do if you're sitting at the diagonal? Like, literally, what does he do? Come in with an approaching aerial against Jigglypuff? Good luck with that, my friend. What he can do, though, is catch your landing with that cannon. It's not going to get a ton, but you're able to punish the shield a little bit.
And even the aerials from Altair, you're seeing he's trying to throw out this back air because it feels like that's the right option to do, but the aerials of Jigglypuff are just faster, and they're just snuffing out everything Altair wants to do. It's like going down the checklist and finding out the answer was still wrong.
This is... Now that I'm seeing the pattern still, I mean, it's been slower paced, so it took a while to recognize exactly what was happening. But Canoe, literally, this team got notes. This team got notes on how to deal with Hawaii. I can't wait to, like, Canoe is playing the exact same game as everyone else was. Wait for them to make a mistake and then punish, but the issue with Jigglypuff, you commit too hard against a heavy and you're moving the same one hit, it hurts so bad. Trades are the worst thing that can happen to you. As those trades lead to a grab being dead. How are you going to get the kill now? I mean, back air's not going to kill yet. You could go for a rest, but in this kind of gameplay, it can be a little trickier.
Yeah, Canoe's got to play very carefully. Goes in, but only hits shield so far. Good in air to get him off stage. That's actually a huge crown, too. Canoe could have gotten a follow-up there, but Altair able to survive because of it.
Oh, and look at that. The super armor getting you through the back air as well at ledge. That might have had a chance of killing, but the ghost of a chance is gone. Just using the jab to pressure them right there, but not able to get the proper spacing to punish the K rule. Like I said, I think the K rule is the proper option, but that was perfect right there. Just using the threat right there. Jigglypuff, that was checkmate. And I think Altair tried to just throw out a move to get some extra percent, but either way, now the percent can start to rack up. Like I said, Jigglypuff can stack it up pretty hard, or you can turn down the heat. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to do.
Yeah. Canoe doing a good job of... Oh my goodness, that's a shield break. Is that the stock?
Yeah. And right there, at ledge, I think that might be killed. No? K-Roll's not fast enough to get the punish right there. If you hit the rest, it's a faster wake up. But it's still going to be an even game right here going into it. Like I said, every single game we see, it's going to be last hit, last hit. Come on. Again?
Another one.
It's going to be an up air rest again. It has to be. But is it going to kill? Yeah, I didn't think it would, even on the platform. But, I mean, with the flower, that's well worth it. You've got K-Rool at kill percent for just that. And Altair doesn't know you can match out of that flower either. So, like, 4% maybe.
Chip away, and now... Ooh, off stage, this could be it. Forward air, and that is it. Canoe takes game one.
Soft fair into hard fair. Farewell if you get caught by that off stage. And that is really what you need to do as Jigglypuff. Really good command of what I like to think of as zones off stage. I mean, everyone knows the drop zone. There's drop zone fair, all that. But Jigglypuff has access to zones other characters can only dream of. And what she can do is just hover in that little spot underneath stage. If K. Rool goes under stage to try and hit Jigglypuff with the top of his backpack, he's just going to die. Jigglypuff's going to tech and she's going to get back to stage. If you don't go in that little area, then, well, your Jigglypuff can just come out with a fair. Like, K. Rool, day one, people thought his recovery was really, really good. Now, though, that people are figuring out how to be a little more comfortable off stage, specifically Jigglypuff, you can really exploit it.
Yeah, Canoe taking full advantage of it on that last stock. And the other thing I gotta commend Canoe on was the picking and choosing of times to go in, right? Because we talked about how Mississippi State played this slower pace today, but in this matchup in particular, to get two shield breaks to recognize, hey, if I go in right now, I can get this combo into a shield break, right? That takes, you know, not only knowledge of you know how small the character's shield is, but you have to have all of that spacing down and the awareness to go for that specific setup in the first place. So really well done by Canoe, the picking and choosing of his timings to go in neutral.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, it looks like we're gonna be going back to town. Huh. All right. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. I think making sure you have space to dash back away from Jigglypuff, definitely a good option. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, just going for these pounds. Who's gonna punish it on this connection? Certainly not K. Rool. Even offline. What's K. Rool gonna do? And using these new jabs. Oh man, it feels good to have combos out of jab. The Jash attack, the Jair, the Jown Smash. Beautiful sword.
Yeah, I was looking at that possible tech scenario, but oh my goodness, look at the space he's covering off stage. You were talking about it at the end of last game, and that's too far of a fade for Altair, so that's gonna be stock number 1 off the board, and now Canoe, you can go back to that cautious passive play and search for his 1 or 2 openings and just start to chip away at this Crocodile.
And that is a very important thing that we just saw right there. The armor does not armor through multi-hits. It gives you 1 hit for sure, but 2? You're asking a little much from the little old belly. There's Nair right there. It will do some major damage, but some good DI out there to avoid that follow-up. Now you're off stage. Able to get right back on there. Canoe not able to get into position, but that time the DI wasn't quite there. Canoe gonna be finished off. Altair. And fire right here towards the edge.
You got to play very carefully now. 116 and crown in hand, and that's another threat for Altair to worry about, as he's got to find a way to get some chip damage onto Canoe. Got the Nair, but can't follow up.
Yeah, right now, Canoe just playing this lead. The shield getting a little low, but getting the aggressive, it gives it plenty of time to recharge. Falling there, it's an opportunity to get something done right now, but I mean, for every little chip off your shoulder, other one, I mean, look at this Canoe just unwilling to let up or unable to. Dodge out.
This could be big. The fall of the pound, that's a lot of shield pressure, but it won't lead to much. And I was going to say, it just feels like that's a good forward tilt, though, from Altair. But it felt like every trade, you know, once Canoe has this lead, just any trades go in favor of Mississippi State at that point. And that just makes the pressure on Altair so much harder.
Oh, you got a crown. What you gotta do with it? Just throwing it down, making it hard to tell when you're gonna go in, taking away that spacing tool, making it so much harder for K. Rool to play the neutral. Going to pick it up. It's gonna get you punished. Tech roll on this platform. No, Canoe. Ooh. That was a scary situation. But again, every little chip right here Payroll can take this stock shockingly early, 52%, a good read at ledge, and Jigglypuff's dead. Look at that, almost died to the forward air.
I actually like that recovery under the stage. I know there's not much that Altair could have done about it, but oh my goodness, Canoe!
All the way out with no warning. After playing it slow, the best mix-up is to run in guns blazing, and that's exactly what Canoe did. Now, I mean, let me do the math right here. I think it is still technically possible for a win for University of Hawaii, or at least a tie, but they would need an almost perfect game after Canoe puts another one under Mississippi State's belt, proving that Jigglypuff is indeed a Wi-Fi character. I mean, say that.
Let's just give credit where credit's due, though, to Canoe for going like that. We've talked about before, but that's the mark of a good player, right? To be able to change the pace of a game instantly. And Jigglypuff is one of those characters that I feel like does that very well. I mean, he played it slow, and then right at the end there, we talked about it too at the end of game number 1. That offstage gameplay it just goes in Jigglypuff's favor at the end of the day. So just great recognition from Canoe too, to find those 1 or 2 openings, especially off stage, and be able to clean them up.
Yeah, as going into the last game, there is one player we have not seen. Yeah. So would you do me the honors of reading who is coming in right now from Mississippi State, because might as well just be a death certificate. Like, I try to make every matchup seem even, but there's one we have not seen yet from Mississippi State. The anchor. It's Yosefu.
Yeah, Yosefu is the kind of hidden monster of Mississippi State, undefeated so far on the year, 4-0. And he rocking the Belmonts, I believe mostly Simon Belmont in particular, but still, just he has been so proficient ever since we first saw him at the start of last season. He has been golden. I think I've rarely lost a set in the EGF, and so this is why we feared for Hawaii that they would get into a scenario like this, or it would all depend on the last set. And for Mississippi State to still have Yosefu in the cards, it feels like the trump card that the Bulldogs have always had.
Yeah. Now, Fruit Basket, you can definitely find some ways in, but can you though? I mean, there's a reason they saved Yosefu towards the end right here. It's going to be almost impossible to find. I mean, if you specifically prepared for the Belmont matchup, you might have a little bit better, but we are just having a tiny bit of issue. But while we get that figured out, let's just take a quick look at the schedule. Just recap where we're going before we get into the final match of the night. And, more recap where we've been. Because we started off, with a forfeit. Unfortunate. But right after that, we went right into what was supposed to be a pretty stagnant game. We walked into what was supposed to be a pretty standard seeded match, and then it was with who was it? It was Seton Hall University and Marist. Seton Hall played exactly as their seed would suggest. Marist, same thing. Then we went into a very similar match with a lower seeded team against a higher seeded team. What happened, Soy?
Well, the upset of the day, Marquette, at an even 3-3, was able to take down Colorado. It looked so strong this season, and it took every single game the maximum points for Marquette to bring it all back, and they were able to do so just by a 1-point victory, which is we see 1-point victories, excuse me, few and far between here in the EGF.
Yeah, as now we're getting into it. You would need a miracle right now. A miracle beyond miracles to take down Yosufu, who is already feared outside of the EGF. Yosufu is feared. Inside, Yosufu is feared. Yosufu, one of the reigning champions. I mean, Fruit Basket, a good player in their own right, gotten some good wins. I mean, what are they sitting at right now, Soy?
Fruit Basket is currently, I believe he is 1-1 on the season. So actually 1-3. I forgot that he changed his tag off of Tempest. So Tempest had some early, when he was using that tag, those were some tough early matchups. But since then, he's been in a lot of pressureful situations, and even though the record may not suggest that he's had a lot of great performances, all of those losses have been, minimum amount of points earned, 4 points, 5 points max type of deals. So Fruit Basket, I mean, we talked about it already, how Yosufu is kind of he'd be a bracket demon here in the EGF, but Yosufu has been kind of this player that, it doesn't always have to be the 3 stock, the 2 stock. Sometimes all he needs is that just one-on-one set victory, minimum amount of points. So a lot of pressure here on Fruit Basket to see what he can do against the Belmonts.
2, 1, go!
Final chance right here. If you drop 2 stocks, University of Hawaii is out of there. You got to keep that in mind if you're Fruit Basket. I usually don't like to mention that, but when it's so crucial here and now, Fruit Basket, you've got to get a dominant lead. But how do you find the way in when Yosufu is just ready for anything?
There's one way in, and I feel like this is going to be one of the matchups you see a lot more in this specific character battle. Is Squirtle with that short range might be able to sneak under some whips that Yosufu throws out, but the problem is, again, Squirtle doesn't have a great way to deal with all the projectiles that Yosufu can throw out in the first place.
Yeah, dash dancing is nice, but you eventually run out of stage to run back to, and Yosufu caught on to that pretty quickly. I mean, they knew it from the start. They're able to set up with a kill with the Holy Flames at the ledge. Coming off that stock right now. Squirtle has that water gun charged up. That could be a good way to get a gimp on Yosufu to get him off stage. If is the big word right there.
Follow-ups from Yosufu are just clean. It feels like every time he gets one conversion, he knows instantly how to follow up, what to follow up with to get, the maximum out of certain small scenarios. And Fruit Basket, even here, I mean, this is what the Belmonts thrive off of. How do you get off this ledge?
Yeah, you're eventually able to, but you've got Yosufu there. And they drop that there. Ooh, a hard commitment. And that's going to be punished with a hard axe. And another one just to boot. Cleaving through that dragon's wings right now. Taking them back down to earth. Try again as the humble turtle. We'll see how that goes. Well, not good, it seems.
These nairs, too. We haven't seen Yosufu throw out these nairs early on this game, but now they're setting up for combos. And Fruit Basket, it feels like he's almost starstruck, right? Like, it feels like he has had a game plan coming in, but everything has just been snuffed out. And now he's left kind of wondering where to go for this next game.
Yosufu pitching a shutout right there. Pitching a lot of stuff. Pitching up a tent. Pitching up some axes, pitching up crosses, pitching up the fire. And the chains, too. What else was out there? Either way, you know who wasn't out there? Fruit Basket. At all. They were nowhere to be seen. They were hanging off the stage.
Yeah, it was just rough. I mean, and it's one thing because you have ways to deal with the Belmonts, but again, Yosefu just does such a good job. It's almost, you know what I kind of think, or this isn't a great comparison, but in my head, it makes me think of like Shulk Nair or Shulk Forward Air, right? When we watch Knight and Bako play, they just do such a good job of controlling the space with one or two moves, and they just kind of wall you out because of it. And Yosefu almost feels like it's the same way. He uses the cross, the forward air, the forward tilts, and while it can all cover the same space, it's just so threatening to approach, and it almost makes you freeze for an extra half second and think, okay, this space is occupied, now where do I approach from? And Yosefu's already a step ahead, saying, okay, if I cover this area, then the next place I have to cover is the jump. And he's already got an axe ready for it. He's already got the forward air ready for it. And it's again, that almost like slowly taking away all your options type of game plan.
Yeah, Yosefu, we've got to give credit to their adaptation, too. I mean, look at how it started. It looked like Squirtle had an opportunity, was dash dancing around, but this is an interesting pick right here. Oh no. They're dead. A zero! Soy!
That's
Soy.
tragic. That's
Soy.
tragic if you're
I was
Fruit
about
Basket.
to just like praise how Yosefu's early game was, and then Fruit Basket had something going. The problem with this stage is while you control the stage, it's amazing. Simon has nowhere to go, nowhere to set up. When you don't control the stage, you don't control anything, because Simon can control the entire thing all at once.
Yeah. And, this is, I think, one of Yosefu's most comfortable stages. I think he often opts to go here, too, so Fruit Basket kind of playing into his hands a little bit. But, I mean, Yosefu, just look at how much pressure he had. It's like you said, just all of these projectiles just controlling the stage. And where do you go if you're Fruit Basket?
I'm not sure. I mean, genuinely, I don't have the answer for how to get around this. Fruit Basket, better player than I, doesn't have the answer to how to get around this. I'm not sure if Yosefu themselves know how to get around what they throw out. As they pop up Fruit Basket for the alley-oop, taking them off the top with the scoop of the up B. And they're able to clip Fruit Basket with the last hit anyways to get a free ticket off stage. And speaking of a free ticket off stage, Fruit Basket won an all-expenses-paid trip off of there. But they've returned it to sender. As Yosefu now dangling under the ledge, an opportunity right here for Fruit Basket to get a stock on the board, win with some honor, win with some dignity, but now you're off stage again. But before this trap is set up, you're able to escape. The up B, though, will prevent the setup from getting much. Up throw, not gonna do it. Gonna do it now? Yeah, or throw it.
That was a good stock for Fruit Basket to take, but again, just so much work to be done this match, and it took so much. I mean, the insult to injury, too, is once you make it through all of those projectiles, Yosefu's still got a decent up B at a shield that can get him out of dodge, and now Fruit Basket at 126, no Charizard on deck. That forward air nearly killed.
Ooh. This is the two frame and gets the roll past Yosefu. Yosefu looking for a stylish way to finish this right here. Just clicking them in one little hit after another. What is Yosefu waiting for? What are they doing? They're just standing there menacingly. They're fishing for something. Casting the chain out, casting the line out, but what could it be, Soy? What could it be? What's the final move? Okay, just a slap. Just a slap on the wrist. And sure, the slap was at 157%, and you're sent off the side of the stage in the blink of an eye, but hey, it's just a little whip. What's the worst that could happen?
Man, that was hard to watch. Just Fruit Basket just got choked out. That was something else, and that's what we feared though, is right. Like Yosefu is one of these players that is just a different type of monster, and it's not because of the massive point swings that he gets, although he did get that 3 stock here, but it's because it's just we talked about it with Jigglypuff, how different of a game you have to play. I feel like you could almost put the Belmonts in that category too, where these guys are just, here. Actually, it makes me think back to the interview we did with MIA after that grand final when they beat DePaul, and I asked them one last time, what I thought or what they thought was their biggest strength, and MIA didn't reply with, the homework that they've done or anything like that. He said it was the diversity of their characters. It was the different range of matchups they could cover with how deep their roster was. And I think that aspect has given them such a huge edge in the EGF, because when you can play these very different styles of matchups, it can throw a lot of people through a loop. And I think Hawaii, a younger roster, kind of fell victim to that today.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii, they definitely had some stuff going. They definitely made it hard. But knowing in the back of your mind that the brick wall is still at the end, it doesn't matter how many people you got to fight through to get to it. Yosefu still stands tall. And you were able to keep it even up until you reached that wall. But by the time you got there, there was no energy, no gas left in the tank to break it down. Yosefu, a true test of movement right there. And movement is already hard enough online, already hard enough on Hawaii, already hard enough offline. Yosefu wouldn't let you through. So that's going to be a GG's from Mississippi State University. University of Hawaii, not able to get that big upset that they would have wanted, but they had to know that Mississippi would be ready for them. We're going to get the chance to talk to Mississippi about how they prepared for Hawaii and what they have planned for their last match and going into the next spring semester. So stick around for the last interview of the night. Mississippi State never want to disappoint. Welcome back, everybody, to the last interview of the night here at EGFC. We're here with Canoe from Mississippi State University after another win for their team. How you doing, Canoe?
Well, how are you guys?
Hey, we're doing fantastic here, and, well, this was quite the matchup. I mean, Hawaii, they're a unique team. We don't have to avoid all the quirks about them, but how did you all prepare for Hawaii?
I don't think we could prepare for the sheer amount of lag from playing across the ocean, but besides that, it's mostly just grinding at everybody's house every night, trying to hyper focus in on these bad habits and just get them out.
Yeah, and I mean, that really showed through how clean and how like reserved. A lot of people are like, yeah, I play safe, and then I figure out my opponent's habits and I beat them, and they're just playing the game. But you all actually seem to be adapting. Like the way you like calmed down and figured out how to edge guard that K rule. That was very nice, very clean.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that matchup in particular. You know, it felt like for you and for the rest of your squad, a lot of these matchups were about how Mississippi State's players could change the pace of a game. They could play that slow style, play a little bit more on the back foot, and then you in particular were able to take advantage of K. Rool the second he was off stage. So what was, I guess, your game plan and your mindset going into your matchup?
My mindset versus most heavies is I'm going to start out the game and I'm going to camp you as hard as I can until you have to come and fight me. And then as soon as they just make one wrong neutral interaction, you just kind of push your advantage state as hard as you can and just try and get a kill off of one interaction.
I mean, that plan, I mean, obviously got the win, worked out pretty well, but yeah, I mean, still, even with such a good game plan, even with such disciplined play, it still came down to the wire. But your team always had Yosefu in the back pocket. So I've got to ask, like, was that always the plan? Was that always the plan to have Yosefu as the anchor, or did you ever consider sending him in at any other time?
We actually had a 6th player on our roster tonight who didn't get to play. His tag is Waifu Pro. And he's actually new to our team this year. And if we had a guaranteed win, we were going to send him in and let him kind of test out the waters. But we needed the points, and we knew Yosefu could probably come down to the wire and get it for us.
Okay. Having that faith in your team, that's important.
So next week, I mean, you guys remain undefeated with your win over Hawaii this week. You get a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving, but then next week you guys have possibly your toughest matchup of this split so far. William and Mary, who have been very dominant and were one of those teams that were in contention for top 4 last season. So what does the preparation for that type of matchup look like?
Yeah, William and Mary, really good team. That was probably the team last year that we kind of had to show up and beat. But besides that, preparing, we're running our tournaments every week. We're getting everybody together. We're grinding it out. And at the end of it, I think Mississippi State is still going to have a 0 in that second column.
Hey, that's the confidence we want to hear, and I'm glad you all are building that sense of camaraderie as you're doing it. But for now, I just want to wish you good luck and congratulations again. And finally, thank you so much for doing this interview, Canoe.
Of course.
Yeah. And well, as we say farewell to Canoe, we are going to be wrapping up the stream as well, saying farewell to all of you. If you liked what you saw, remember, EGF streams 1 and 2, always produced by the House of 3000 from up in New York. Be sure to check them out. If you're in the area, head up to Zeno. Unless you have a 4-hour drive, then don't head up to Zeno. Never good at that. But if you don't have that, you know what to do. Additionally, be sure to check out all the EGF stuff, official EGF on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. You better be following us. We got all sorts of esports, all sorts of days. So, you know, if you have some time, you want to have some esports on in the background, foreground, wherever you want, EGF is the place to go. Additionally, pay your casters some tribute, please. Me and Soy, always out here giving you a good time. And you can find us on Twitter right down below. It's the same every time, every week, Tuesday. We're going to be off next week, but we'll be coming back the week after Thanksgiving with some more Smash Brothers action. So I'll see you then. But for now, like I said, I've been Keel Miles. This is Soy signing off for now.